Forgotten Sunrise, Chapter 32, Reflections. Sunny felt her mouth go dry as the silence settled on the vehicle bay in Canterlogic's bottom level.
Where should we start looking? Should I talk to my mom about increasing security?
She heard Sprout ask. The Earth Mare took a deep breath to try her best to calm herself.
Don't bother, Sprout.
Sunny answered.
Additional security won't be able to stop her. And as for looking for her, where do you suggest we start? She could be absolutely anywhere. So, what do we do, Sunny?
Sprout asked. Sunny took another deep breath.
Let's start going through what we have left, and just hope that she sees reason. I don't know what else we can do.
Izzy stood at her stove waiting for her tea kettle to start whistling. Her headache was almost completely gone, but she still wasn't sure when she would resume practicing spells. Alphabeetle did have a point. If she hadn't been reading through that weather spell book, there would have been no telling how far that fire would have spread. She heard the whistle of the tea kettle, but when she looked down, steam wasn't coming out of the tip. She then realized that the whistling wasn't coming from the kettle, but from over by the front door. She felt a sudden wave of heat pass over her in an instant, before there was a flash of light. In the next instant, Sunset Shimmer was standing there.
Sunset?
Izzy asked. Without saying a word, Sunset looked around, spotted the stacks of books the other unicorns had brought in, then looked over to the corner of the kitchen counter, where Izzy had set her Class 4 book and had yet to move it. Her horn lit up and pulled the book from the counter and levitated it over to the stack next to the door, setting it on top.
I'm sorry, Izzy.
Sunset said, glancing at her for only a moment.
Sunset, what are you doing? Hey!
The glow around Sunset's horn intensified, and after another flash of light and wave of heat, she vanished, along with the books Bridalwood had gathered. That left Izzy alone in her kitchen, with a now whistling kettle on the stove.
What? When? How? What?
Sunny was trying and failing to keep her mind off of Sunset and the magic books. She was sorting through the far more numerous non-magical books that they had brought back from the Crystal Empire's library. She felt her phone in her saddlebag go off, opened the flap, pulled it out, and saw Izzy calling.
That would be a nice distraction. Hey, Izzy. How's it going?
She greeted after accepting the call and putting the phone to her ear.
Honestly, a bit freaky at the moment. Sunny, did you know Sunset is a book snatcher?
About 15 minutes ago, yeah. She's afraid that advanced magic books are too dangerous to keep around.
Well, to tell you the truth, Sunny, she might have half a point. More than half, probably.
So yeah, keep them safe. But she said she was thinking about destroying them. That's history, Izzy. Do you have any idea where she went?
Nope. She just poofed into my house, grabbed the book she asked me to have the town collect, said sorry, then poofed right back out again. Then I called you to see if you knew what was going on.
Unfortunately, I do. She just took all of the magic books that we had gathered from the Crystal Empire. I have no idea where she is, but I really, really hope she comes to her senses.
The colorful ambience of Izzy's cottage vanished in a flash of light. It was replaced by near-complete darkness as Sunset completed her teleportation spell.
Lux,
she whispered, and a mote of light left the top of her horn and floated up. It gradually increased in luminosity, revealing her surroundings. She was currently in the basement of Twilight's Castle Library, where the shattered mirror still remained, the shards in piles back against the wall. Sunset turned around and looked at the stack of more than 200 books between her and the mirror. Her lips quivered as she stared at the pile of spell tomes. She took another deep breath, held it, closed her eyes for a moment, and raised her right hoof, pointing it directly at the books.
Estes!
A stream of fire erupted from her outstretched hoof, and immediately surrounded and engulfed the collected magical works. Her horn glowed as she maintained her concentration for just a few more moments, just long enough for them to catch fire. A few seconds more, and the flames from her hoof seized, as if a valve was shut off. Sunset looked on with determination, and her eyes widened when the flames subsided and the books were left untouched. Not even so much as singed. With a twinge of frustration, she raised her right hoof again.
Ace this!
The flames once again burst forth from the bottom of her hoof, and spread across the books again. She held the fiery stream steady for just a few moments longer than she had last time, then lowered her hoof again. Once more, the flames burned out, and the books were undamaged.
Talem!
A white bolt of energy burst from her horn and impacted against the stack of books. They didn't so much as move, confirming Sunset's growing suspicions. There was something here, some sort of energy. At first, she passed it off as leftover residual magical energy from the shattered mirror. Feeling her frustration growing, she lashed out at the stack of books with her telekinesis, scattering them to every corner of the room. She took several aggressive steps towards the mirror, taking hold of the piles of shards.
Reparer!
She shouted, firing a trio of golden beams of light towards the mirror in both shard piles. She lifted them up and brought them to the bare mirror frame. Piece by piece, they were placed in the frame as Sunset's sparking horn continued to glow brightly. She felt the spell begin to falter, and dug her hooves into their places on the floor and concentrated harder.
Reparer!
She screamed again, desperately watching as the vibrating shards were unstably placed in the mirror's frame. The cracks slowly began to disappear. Nearly an entire minute passed. As the last of the damage faded away, she appeared to have a fully functional magical portal mirror standing before her. Her magical reserves began to run low. She turned her attention to the books scattered all around the room, mentally preparing to get them out of Equestria. All in the next instant, the mirror immediately shattered again, and the shards exploded out towards the room, right towards Sunset. Having next to no time to react, her instincts alone lit her horn up and cast a forward shield as quickly as she possibly could. The golden glowing field appeared in front of her between her and the shards, which bounced off the shield. Sunset's shields didn't last but a moment, and as she felt a wet warmth running down her left cheek, she quickly realized two things. 1, she hadn't blocked all the shards in time, and 2, she had just pushed herself past her limits as her head was hit with magical exhaustion. A debilitating headache immediately set in as her hovering illumination spell faded to nothing and returned the room to darkness. She squeezed her tear-filled eyes shut in a futile attempt to block out the throbbing. She fell to her knees and then to her side, collapsing among the scattered books and shattered mirror. For some reason, I picture magical exhaustion as a really bad migraine. Anyways, let's get on to our powerful donators. Top donators are 630, BadassWaffle, Only One Thing, Ceru, Orion, IronSky, and Jessie Smith. Matchpick 109, Darkside, Rayden, Narwhals, Blackmoonheart, Pastel, Skies, Austin, Rolan, Stu, Hex, Sorpether, Mordred, Armycon, Library, Runeside 9852, Will, Chris, Twinkie, Rytal, Shadowmo, Luigi 88, Chancellor Crest, Big Smoke 369, Bobcat, GGF, Murder Princess, and many more awesome people. Thank you both so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.